Alright, welcome on back to another Amazing Spider-Man review. We are now looking at another comic book flashback, and that is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 18. This issue came out in November of 1964. And as we're picking up from last issue, remember, Spider-Man had to leave the fight with the Green Goblin after learning that his Aunt May suffered a heart attack. Now, we learned at the end of the last issue that she turned out to be alright, and all she needed was some rest and medicine. But because of this, J. Jonah Jameson has put out articles about Spider-Man being a phony, being a coward, being yellow. And so Spider-Man's reputation is at an all-time low in this issue. So please don't click away. Please don't go do anything else, because you're about to experience something a little bit different here. We're not going to be looking at Spider-Man fighting any foes. He's going to just be experiencing things that are affecting his life, things that are just very dramatic for Peter Parker's life. We're going to be looking at Peter Parker a lot in this issue. It's very different, so don't go away, because of this issue, next issue will be a lot better, I promise. Alright, so today we're looking at the end of Spider-Man. Is that true? Are we looking at the end of Spider-Man? Now we look back again, we see his fight with the Green Goblin and J. Jonah Jameson, and he's very chipper. I mean, the face only a mother can love right here, folks. A face that only a mother can love. So we learn that Spider-Man is turned coward. That's what the Daily Bugle has been publishing. And as always, the story was written by Stan Lee, drawn by Steve Ditko, and lettering by Sam Rosen. Alright, so we see all the villains. They've heard about this, because it's a big deal. You got Spider-Man, he's pretty popular on the scene. He's fought some pretty outstanding villains like Dr. Octopus here, and we have Vulture and Kraven the Hunter, and then Green Goblin gloating right here. Green Goblin will be world famous. So we see right there just how much of an impact Spider-Man's defeat has been. And it's been a big impact even on the heroes. We see the Fantastic Four are upset. The Avengers are upset. Even Daredevil. Remember, Daredevil made his appearance in Spider-Man's comic book here in issue number 16. Go back and watch that review as I reviewed issue number 16 of Amazing Spider-Man. So, one big person in particular is Johnny Storms. Even though he's had a feud with Spider-Man, still, he's pretty upset that Spider-Man ran out on the fight last issue. So a lot of things have been going on since last issue. Things have just gotten from worse to even worse. Alright, so this is a very hard issue for me to read. As a Spider-Man fan, I can't stand to see Spider-Man viewed in a negative light, but this is what what Stan Lee does in this story. He builds up to something that will eventually turn out for the better. Alright, so we're looking at Aunt May being taken care of by this woman named Miss Watkins. I believe this is Miss Watson. I don't know why Stan Lee put Watkins here. We can be sure that this is Anna Watson, not Anna Watkins. I don't know why he changed the name. But other than that, we know they're related to the Watsons. They're not related, but they're neighbors with the Watsons. And we don't hear of Mary Jane in this issue. She's not mentioned, but we're pretty sure that Mary Jane's aunt is this woman right here, Miss Watson. So even Peter Parker, he's had some troubles. One good thing about Peter Parker in this issue is that he's smart. He's a smart individual. So he's top in the school, top student, makes straight A's. So school's not a problem with him. We even learn that he's way ahead of everybody else in school, but he can't concentrate in his studies. His whole concern is on Aunt May's health. He wants to just make sure Aunt May is getting the medicine she needs, getting the rest that she needs, that everything is going all right. But we also learn that Peter Parker is in need of money, and they're running out of money in their savings account because they're using all this money to pay on the medical bills. So we're seeing some real life stuff here with Peter Parker, and this is why a lot of fans who read comic books over the years are attracted to Spider-Man. Why he's so relatable is because Peter Parker is having to take care of his aunt. Like that's normal in everyday society, you know. And what else is great about this issue? We just see that even though Liz Allen has a crush on Peter Parker and Betty Brant is mad at him from last issue, we're still seeing a little bit of sympathy and what girls do for guys when they really like them. And so, you know, Liz Allen, she's showing some sympathy towards Peter Parker. She's the only one in this issue that shows sympathy towards Peter Parker. He's just going through a really rough time in this issue. And so Peter Parker tries his best to come up with ideas to make some money. He even goes as Spider-Man to this guy. He makes baseball cards of all types of people. And so he says, "How about you just make some cards of me? I think they'll sell pretty good." But the guy says no dice because pretty much Spider-Man's reputation at this point is at an all-time low. No one's going to take him serious, so it would be a bad investment. And we even see here where there's a bunch of crooks about to rob a store on top of this roof. And Spider-Man, he's about to tackle these guys, but then he remembers that he needs to go fight, or he needs to go protect Aunt May. Because if he ever loses, if he ever gets beaten up and he loses a fight, then what will happen to poor Aunt May? So Aunt May is the #1 person on Spider-Man's mind. And so he leaves the fight. It's uncharacteristic of Spider-Man. He reports the robbery to the police. So very uncharacteristic things to Spider-Man, but we can tell why. He's so wrapped up in Aunt May. I mean, even if he sees a doctor in Aunt May's house, he gets shocked and nervous. But the doctor's like, no, just rest assured, everything's alright. So again, we see the frustration with Betty Brant. Betty Brant, remember, she likes Peter Parker, but she can't trust Peter because of the circumstances that happened last issue with her seeing Liz Allen and Peter Parker together at that club. So he can't even get a hold of Betty Brant. Life is just really, really rough right now. He tries his best to call Betty Brant. And here's the thing. You know, Peter Parker, he's young. He's not used to dating women. And one thing about Peter Parker, you do not call a woman when she is mad at you. Like, if she's avoiding you, that's the worst thing you can do. But, of course, just to add to the drama, you know, Peter Parker, he loves her, and that's the instinct. But, again, bad move right there. He recalls his fight with Sandman and Kraven Hunter, Vulture, and this is all from the Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1. I hope you didn't miss that review. I reviewed that comic book, so go back and watch that if you haven't. He thinks about all the times he's been in dangerous spots with these supervillains, and all these supervillains, if he fights them again, it's going to be a lot harder to fight them. He even tries to corner Betty Brant, but again, no dice, no way. And we see J. Jonah Jameson and Steve Ditko draws him pretty well here with him smiling, saying everything is just great. Life is wonderful. And life is wonderful when Spider-Man is a joke, when Spider-Man is viewed in a negative light. Spider-Man even tries to sell his webbing to these scientists, but then his mistake is that his webbing does not last. It only holds objects for so long. He would say, well, wait, I can make the webbing permanent. It would just give me some time. But then he realizes it would take months of lab work that he just does not have. He does not have time to make adjustments to his webbing, so that doesn't work. Then he runs into Sandman. Sandman escaped prison, so things just go bad to worse here. Sandman tries to trap Spider-Man and fight him off, but we see right here that Spider-Man is running away from Sandman for one reason, and that is if Sandman ends up defeating Spider-Man here, what will happen to Aunt May? Because Aunt May is, again, the #1 priority in Spider-Man's life here. So, Spider-Man is shown on TV running away from Sandman. just hard stuff. If you're a fan of Spider-Man, this is hard to read because you just can't stand this going on with Spider-Man. And so then we see right here that Aunt May's medicine is about used up. And Peter Parker's like, man, this is getting worse. J. Jonah Jameson, he's just spouting it off on TV. Everybody is so just against Spider-Man at this point. Even the Avengers and Daredevil's upset. The Fantastic Four's upset. So Johnny Storm comes to the conclusion that he needs to meet Spider-Man face to face to find out what's going on. So he writes in the sky, Spider-Man needs to meet him at the usual meeting place. This usual meeting place is shown in Strange Tales Annual Number 2. So Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, waits at the Statue of Liberty, but Spider-Man does not show. And again, Flash Thompson, the only hardcore fan of Spider-Man, defends Spider-Man throughout this whole issue. He's the only Spider-Man fan shown in here. But then we find out that Liz Allen, when she comes racing towards Peter Parker's house, she finds and she tells Peter Parker that Flash Thompson has gone out into the city dressed as Spider-Man. And this is just very dumb of Flash Thompson. He's trying to prove a point that Spider-Man is not a coward, so he's going to dress up as Spider-Man. Remember, Flash Thompson did this once before, but that time that was in issue number 5, where he was going to play a prank on Peter Parker. So this is not unusual of Flash Thompson dressing as Spider-Man to prove a point. So Flash Thompson tries his best, but he's cornered by these 3 crooks. The crooks are caught by the cops, but Flash Thompson's mission was not successful. He did not get Spider-Man's attention, and Flash Thompson got a black eye just for it. So things are just getting worse and worse. But Flash Thompson does not lose faith in Spider-Man. And then we see right here, Betty Brant is with another guy. I mean, things are just getting really bad. I mean, if you're Peter Parker at this point, oh gosh, like, what? Why, God, why? They just stroke of bad luck everywhere. Peter Parker at this point, he's like, I'm giving up. I'm tired of being Spider-Man. I'm not going to be Spider-Man any longer. So that's what happens. He decides that it's time just to hang it up. So then we see right here, he tosses his clothes in the garbage can. We'll see if the computer will load. The computer's being slow here. But basically what happens at the end of the story is that Aunt May gets better. She gets better. And she says, I'm fine, Peter Parker. And let me tell you something. I know you're concerned about me all the time. But we are Parkers, Peter. We're Parkers, and we're tougher than people think. So that's what she tries. She gives Peter Parker the encouragement, and Peter Parker's like, you know what? If Aunt May can fight off the disease and the illness and get better, then by golly, I can do it as well. Because only wimps quit. So I'm going to be Spider-Man from now on. And so this is where we leave off right here. Stan Lee giving us hope right here, giving his readers hope that Spider-Man is going to return in action as the hero that we all know and love. And so I know it's a different story here, but again, the story builds up to next issue. So don't miss out on next issue because it's going to be something else. Go ahead, like this video, and I will see you in the next review.